Good morning and welcome to today's verse. To God be the glory. What a great day it is today. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for your comments. Even though now I don't reply to all of them each and every day, every time. When I first started doing this, I did, but as the channel grew, I began to realize I just couldn't do it. I get up early in the morning, sometimes 4:30, to try to find a verse that I hadn't done before and a verse that God is leading me to do. And to try to get that done before I get out to work. So sometimes it's a bit of a challenge. But I thank you for your comments. I really, really do. There was a comment yesterday that I thought was so encouraging. I want to tell you, it really was, because it said that you have this grandpa comforting energy. And I thought that was so cool because, you know, when I grew up, I loved to sit around my grandfather. We call him Papa. I would sit at his feet and probably listen to him all day if I could, until my mom said, "Come home, boy, you got to come home." I enjoyed listening to my grandfather, the wisdom that he had and the words and the stories that he would tell. I was there listening to him, and it was always, to me, adventurous. So I was very encouraged by that particular comment. Listen, today's verse, it comes to us from the book of Jonah, Jonah chapter 1, verse 17. And it says this: "Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights." I want to speak to you this morning about something much more than a fish story. You know what a fish story is. That's when people go out and they catch something about the size of a minnow. But when they tell the story to someone else, that fish has grown to be bigger than you could ever imagine. It is like this. But this is so much more than another fish story. This verse, it comes at the end of Jonah chapter 1, where Jonah disobeys God's command to go to Nineveh. Instead of doing that, he decides to go in the opposite direction to Tarshish. His attempt to escape God leads to this violent storm at sea. The sailors, realizing that Jonah is the cause of the storm, they reluctantly cast him overboard into the sea, where God has prepared this great fish to swallow him up. Jonah remains inside the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. It's a period that foreshadows Jesus' time in the tomb. We read about that in Matthew chapter 12, verse 40. Jonah thought he could run from God's presence and will, but God controlled the sea and prepared the fish to bring Jonah back to his senses and to God's will. God is always in control. Now listen to this. Even in our disobedience, Jonah was swallowed not to be destroyed, but to be saved and given another chance. Sometimes God has to use difficult situations to get our attention and redirect us to his will rather than abandon us. Jonah found himself in a desperate situation. Recognizing his disobedience, he repented and he prayed to God from the belly of the great fish. Jonah shows us that even when we hit rock bottom, God hears our prayers and he can restore us. Listen, this is so much more than just another fish story. To God be the glory for the great things he has done. I pray that you would meditate upon this verse. It would be a word of encouragement to you as you go throughout your day. I pray that you would have a great day. Have a safe day. And then tune in again tomorrow, as we consider today's verse. Amen.